What's going on, Nitrocytes? It is your boy, the Nitro General here, and welcome back to another video going over my draft league that I am creating called the NPBA, or the Nitro Pokemon Battle Academy. This is a brand new draft league that I have created myself, and anyone can join. Any of you watching can join. All you need is a Switch and a copy of Sword and Shield and a Discord account. I will link the Discord server down below. Again, if you want to know more about it, I did do a video a couple days ago going over. In that video, I did not talk about any of the rules because I had not written the official rules yet. Well, now I did, and I kind of wanted to make a video going over it. But if you do want to join, go and click that thing. Anybody can join. It's completely free. Just go click on the link down below. It'll take you to the Discord page, and you can either type in there that you want to join, or you could message me directly and say, hey, I'm interested in joining the draft league, and I'll be like, great. Currently, there are 14 slots open. There is me and another one of my friends that have been in the draft league right now, and I am leaving it open to you guys watching the video right now and a bunch of my friends that I'm contacting. I did say in the last video that I might contact Seabad, but I don't know if he would do it anyways. He's got a lot on his plate, so I doubt he can take his time out of his day to be in my draft league. But I still may contact him. But so there are 14 slots open for coaches. If you would like to join, just go down and click on it, like I said. This whole Google Docs is open for anybody to join and anybody to read. I mean, not to join. All you gotta do is just go to the Discord server, and it is linked right in the pinned messages. So all you gotta do is just go on there, click it, it'll take you to here. This is subject to change up until right when we get really close. There may be some things that I missed, that or things that I may take out. Probably nothing that I'll take out. It'll just be things that I add, little things. Hopefully I won't have to change the amount of players in the league, because I'm really hoping that we get 16. If we don't, then I may have to change the weeks, but I will explain that in a little bit. So I just really wanted to go over this and just talk about all the rules a little bit more in depth. So if you are reading this or whatever, you have any questions, you can either refer to this video or you can just message me and ask me directly. Most of this is pretty much straightforward, but I thought I'd just explain this because there are a lot of people who have never done a draft league. I have never done a draft league, but these are my rules. So, and I am pretty much going straight with VGC rules, except for the fact that this whole draft league is going to be in singles rather than in doubles. I just think that's a little bit easier, and that's what most are in. So, but yeah, so I hope you guys are gonna enjoy this. If you are excited, leave a like down below and subscribe, because I will have as much draft league content of this series on there. I will be posting every battle that I do on my YouTube channel. I will be trying my best to do a team builder for you guys, and then the battle, and hopefully it will all be pretty cohesive, so I won't have to worry about editing too much. But I'd like to get a capture card and a create my own layout and stuff on the laptop, but it might be a little hard to do that right now. So, but if you guys are excited, slap a like, subscribe, and hit that bell, so when you do, when I do post stuff like this, you will get notified. But let's just get right into it. So the NPBA rules. This is a post-home Sword and Shield draft league. It's composed of single battles, meaning that any movesets, abilities, and Pokemon released after Pokemon Home are fair game. So basically, just any of the new Pokemon that were released in Sword and Shield from Pokemon Home are fair to use in this draft league. That means Meltan and Malametal. That means any of the legendaries that have been released. I probably will not do all of the legendaries. I may do like Malametal and Kyurem for the league. Maybe the only ones that I'm going to give access to. Just in like maybe type Null and Silvally too. Just because I only want to do a few, because a lot of legendaries are going to be very problematic. So I am not going to be doing that. So yeah, anything. So if there's any moves that Pokemon didn't get in Pokemon Sword and Shield, but they do get now if they were transferred from a previous game. Those are all fair game. Like giving, what was it? Like Pangoro would knock off. That's going to be fair game now when it wasn't before because Pangoro didn't get knockoff in this generation. Also, any uh, uh, abilities that were released, so any previous Pokemon that got their hidden abilities released in any previous game, they can be used in this league as long as you transfer them over. So, yeah, that's pretty much just basically. This league will consist of 16 coaches. This means there will be a 7-week regular season with 3 weeks of playoffs with 1 battle per week. So, every week there will be 1 battle. Each coach will battle another coach. Every week, and the top 4 teams at the end of the 7 weeks will move on to the playoffs in the last 3 weeks. Then whoever the top 2 teams in the end of the 3 weeks will move on to the finals, obviously. I will explain a little bit more about the determining the top teams in a few minutes. Each coach is responsible for notes in each battle, like writing down what Pokemon KO'd what Pokemon in each match if the battle was not recorded. I'm guessing that most people who are going to be battling are not going to be posting their videos on a YouTube channel or are not going to be doing anything like that. I mean, that would be really, really cool if they were, but the whole point of this, the whole point of determining what teams get the top spots is not only determined by the win-loss ratio. I will talk about that more in a few minutes, but basically, if you are not recording it, you are required to write down all of that stuff. And just to be honest and everything, just because if it's not recorded, there is no way to know if you 6-0'd somebody or if you 2-0'd somebody. And that really determines. So, at the end of the week, we will confer with each team just to make sure, hey, this is right. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, and if there's some discrepancy, I will, talk to the couple teams and be like, hey, he said this and he said this. And we'll get it figured out. But you are responsible for just keeping. I mean, it's pretty much easy. So you just be like, oh, Pikachu was KO'd by Machamp with, you don't even seem to see what move, just to know, hey, this Pokemon, because also, I will be letting you guys know who was the kill leader of the season, what Pokemon from what team killed the most, what Pokemon had the least death to win or death to live ratio and stuff like that. Just nothing important, just something cool just to see. So yeah. Now, the Pokemon draft. There are no G-Max Pokemon allowed in this league. Each coach can choose what Pokemon they want to D-Max each battle, each week. So, I did take out the G-Max for 2 reasons. One, because they're really powerful, and sometimes they can be a little unpredictable. And it's just, if you have nothing for them, they're just so strong that they can just wipe out a whole team. And sometimes I want to leave it more to strategy based rather than, oh, this guy's got G-Max Grimmsnarl that's way better than G-Max Corviknight or something like that. But, so I am just going to get rid of that. And the second reason is because I don't have a way of giving people G-Max Pokemon that they don't have. So if they currently do not have a G-Max Grimmsnarl or a G-Max Duraludon or anything like that, then there's no way for them to get it unless they trade with somebody. And I don't want people to really, really want a Pokemon but not draft it because they don't have it. Any Pokemon that is not a G-Max Pokemon, I can help get it. I do have a complete living dex on the game, so any Pokemon that you need besides G-Max Pokemon, I can help you get if you don't have it. For breeding purposely, I'm not going to breed you the nature and everything you want for your Pokemon, but I will give you one of those Pokemon just so you can get it if you need it. So, yeah. And you can choose each week which one you want to Dynamax, so it still leaves a little bit of unpredictability to the matches because you never know which one they're going to G-Max. Each coach will draft 11 unique Pokemon in a classic tier draft. After one coach picks a Pokemon, it is no longer available to be drafted. Now, this means that there is going to be a list of Pokemon, and each Pokemon is assigned a tier. So anytime it's your turn to pick a Pokemon, you can be like, okay, I really, really want a Grimmsnarl. Okay, he's a tier 1 Pokemon. That means if I pick Grimmsnarl, I can't pick any other tier 1s, because you only get one tier 1, unless you use your points, which I'll explain here in a second, to get one after the draft. And then once you pick that Pokemon, it is no longer available to be drafted. I have seen other draft leagues where they're like, yeah, you can draft whatever Pokemon you want, but there's only like 2 or 3 of each. No, there is one of each. So when one Pokemon gets a Pokemon, one coach gets a Pokemon, nobody else can get it unless they use their free agent transactions, which I'll talk about here in a minute. So you get one tier 1 Pokemon, one tier 2, one tier 3, 2 tier 4, and 2 tier 5 Pokemon. So this is how it's going to go before they get to the... obviously, that's only like, what, 7 Pokemon. So you're still going to be down 4, and that's what I'm going to explain here in a minute. The 7 Pokemon one here is just to make sure that we're going to go with the tier 1s, tier 2s, tier 3s, tier 4s, and tier 5s. So it goes down the list, and you can pick whatever Pokemon you want in whatever tier, but until we get to the end of this part, you can't go back and you can't be like, I'm going to get 3 tier 4s. You can't do that right now. You have to wait, because each coach will have 400 points to pick 4 free Pokemon after this part. So after you pick 7 Pokemon, then each coach is going to be assigned 400 points, and you can use these 400 points to then pick other Pokemon out of other categories. A tier 1 is 180 points, a tier 2 is 120, a tier 3 is 100, a tier 4 is 60, and a tier 5 is 40. So you can be like, alright, I'm going to get a tier 1 and a tier 2. That is 300. Yes, that's 300. So you can do a tier 1, a tier 2, and a tier 3. Or you could do 2 tier 1s and be 240 and get a tier 3, and then another tier, and then like a tier 4 and a tier 5. So any combination of whatever you want to do. If you want more stronger Pokemon, then you have to take more weaker Pokemon too, or you can get whatever you want. You can spend the points however you want, but this is only to be done after the first 7 Pokemon are picked. We'll plan the drafting whenever we get enough coaches. So if you guys want to join, just keep joining, because once we get a lot, then I will schedule when we are going to start doing the draft, and hopefully that'll work for everybody. Transactions. This is what I was talking about. Each coach has a total of 4 free agent transactions. This means that if a coach doesn't like a Pokemon they've drafted, they can swap it out for another Pokemon of the same tier that has not been drafted. These transactions must be done at least 3 days before your battle for the week and will go into effect that same week. This starts in the 2nd week of the season. So you can't draft all these Pokemon and then that same week be like, oh, I'm going to do a transaction. You have to wait until you already did your first battle, and you have to do it at least 3 days, and you have to let everybody know in the Discord server, because it would be kind of crappy if you're like, oh, I'm going to do this really, really quick at the last day, and then tell them, and then they don't have time to prepare for that Pokemon. You need to give at least 3 days before your battle. So if you're planning on doing your battle at 2 o'clock on Friday, then you need to have notified them by 2 o'clock on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday, that you're going to be doing this, so that and then you can do it or whatever. I mean, there's, some, if you forgot to say something or whatever, and you get really close and there's a good reason, the other person's like, yeah, that's fine or whatever, then it may be okay, but the general rule is that you have to do it 3 days. And then you can use it that same week that you do your free agent transaction. You can do this 4 times during the entire season whenever you want to, and after you do this 4 times, you're no longer to swap out any Pokemon. The schedule, just like I said, 7 weeks of regular season with one battle per week, 3 weeks of playoffs. The top 4 teams will battle it out, and the top 2 will move on to finals. The ranking system is decided not only by win or loss ratio, but also your Pokemon differential. So this allows less of a chance for a tie. So if you're 6-0 and somebody else is 6-0, but you have less deaths in your entire team, then you get to move on. So basically, that is an incentive to not just kill Pokemon to kill Pokemon. Be like, oh, he's gonna knock it out, and then I can swap out into this next one. The more Pokemon that you have that haven't fainted, the higher your differential is going, or the lower your differential is going to be. Because every time one of your Pokemon faints, you get 1 point. And it's like golf. You don't want a high differential, because a high differential will mean that you may get butted out of playoffs only because you had a Pokemon faint once. One more Pokemon faint than another person in one battle. So it's just an incentive. That's the best I can explain it. So basically, the least amount of deaths you have in your entire season, the better chance you have to make it into playoffs or finals or whatever. So there is that. The schedule will be determined after the draft. You and your opponent have to decide on a time, anytime during the week to battle. So you can just be like, hey, do you want to battle on Tuesday, even, or whatever, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I can do it at this time. If you can't settle on a time, you may ask for an extension with a valid reason. So you can't just be like, oh yeah, I have a show to watch or something this time. That's not a valid reason to not be able to battle, because the other person might not be able to battle. So you have to, if you can't settle on a time, if you're in different time zones or whatever like that, settle on a time to battle. If you can't, you can ask for an extension or whatever. Most of the time it's just going to be fine, but you don't want to just keep doing that, because you'll get removed from the league if you're just going to keep, putting things off. So, yeah. Alright, so here we get into the battle rules. There are no Gigantamax Pokemon in this league. You may Dynamax one Pokemon of your choice each week. Ability restrictions. The only abilities you can't use are ones that are not available post-home. If they release after the season starts, you may not use this ability. So currently, the starters do not have their hidden abilities released yet, which means that you can't use them. And if they're released after the draft is done, you can't use them, because people are going to be preparing for that, and you can't just bring in a hidden ability that has not been released. If you do suspect that somebody has a hidden ability that hadn't been released yet, let me know. I'll look it up or whatever, and then they can be deducted points or whatever like that. So, yeah, so that's just the only ability. The move restrictions. This is standard VGC rules. No one-hit KO moves, obviously, because it's very cheap. You don't want to have sheer cold and then not one-hit a Pokemon, because you can't calc for these moves. You can't build your Pokemon to withstand one-hit KO moves unless they have a Focus Sash or something. It's just stupid. Obviously, no one-hit KO moves. No evasion, boosting, or lowering moves. And no moves that directly cause sleep. Any move that has a secondary effect of calling sleep, or abilities that may cause sleep, are fair game. Like, for example, Effect Spore. If your Pokemon has Effect Spore and they get put to sleep by that, that's totally fine. G-Max Grimmsnarl, well, you can't use G-Max Grimmsnarl in this league, but any moves that have a secondary effect of causing sleep, that's pretty fine. Like, Yawn is fine too. But the purpose of this is because the Sword and Shield timer is very short in this game, and I do not have a way of extending the timer. So evasion boosting moves and sleep both prolong the battle, and you don't want to prolong it to timer, because then whoever has the healthiest Pokemon wins the battle. And I mean, that's bound to happen at some points, but it's just sometimes you can win. It's just a matter of you not having enough time. So the only reason those are not available, so no like Acid Armor. I think is it Acid Armor that that lowers your or increases your evasiveness, stuff like that. No Double Team, no Sand Attack, nothing like that. No Hypnosis, no Sleep Powder. I think Yawn is okay just because it takes 2 turns, but nothing like that causes direct sleep, just because it's just cheap, and it extends the battle, and we don't want it to go to timer. Pokemon rules. Any Pokemon available post-home is fair game. If a new Pokemon is released after the series starts, like in the DLC, you cannot draft them. Because hopefully this will not go to the DLC, but if it does, if like Urshifu or something brings out, that will not be in the draft. If like Garchomp comes out, that is also not going to be in the draft. You can't use them if they're released after the draft is done. Regionals forms count as separate Pokemon. So if you draft Kanto Rapidash, you may not use Galarian Rapidash unless you also drafted it, and vice versa. So, yeah. So Galarian forms are totally different Pokemon. You can draft different forms. They count as different Pokemon. That's it. If you draft a Pokemon that has different forms besides regional forms, you get access to them all. So if you draft Savali, you get access to every type. Obviously, Savali, if you get it, you get all the different discs that change its typing. You can use whatever typing you want. Also, like Gastrodon, you can use East and West Sea Gastrodon, stuff like that. You don't have to worry about that. The only other exception from that is Rotom forms count as separate Pokemon. So Rotom Heat is going to be drafted by someone. Rotom Wash is going to be drafted by someone else. You know, they don't count as one Pokemon. If you draft Rotom, you do not get access to every single Rotom form. Penalties. This is the last one. Okay. Failing to respond to multiple scheduling conflicts in a week will serve as a forfeit on your end, giving you a 0-6 loss and a 6-0 win for your opponent. Meaning that if somebody's like, hey, I can't battle, and you don't respond to them after like a day, and then they're like, hey, I can't battle today, or whatever, and they're like, and they still don't respond, then that's not your fault. You can't battle and they don't respond to you. That's going to result in a forfeit for their point, and then you get a 6-0 differential. So you get minus, or you get 0 points added to your differential because it serves as you won with all 6 of your Pokemon and they lost with 0 of theirs. So that's just an incentive so you can talk to the person that you're battling with that week. If you miss more than 2 matches, you will be eliminated from the league. So if you miss one because of the failing to respond or whatever, and then you miss another one, you will be eliminated from the league, and somebody else can take your spot, or whatever like that. So you will. That's just what it is. We can't have people just. It's only a 7-week battle. You're only gonna have 7 battles. If you miss 2 of them, that just can't be fair. Breaking any rules will also serve as a forfeit on your part. So if you use an ability that unless you genuinely didn't know or whatever like that, which most of the time you know. Look it up before you battle if you're not sure if it's been released. Or if you use an evasion boosting move and the entire battle loses because they miss one move, then you're also going to serve as a forfeit, and that's just don't break the rules. That's it. There will be no fighting or harassing. This is meant to be fun, and ultimately some battles will come down to RN to pure RNG. I understand this as much as anyone, how that can make you irritated, but there will be no retaliation because of this. If you are warned more than once, you will be kicked from the league. So basically, all funning like between each other, trash talk is fine. Fun trash talk, not like if you're serious about it. And then if it comes down to it and you lose, and then you come on the Discord server or you message them directly and be like, you're a piece of crap, it's bullshit, everything like that, and they let me know, I will give you a warning, and if you get more than one warning, you're just going to be kicked, because this is supposed to be fun. And I understand that some battles can... I was watching a Draft League battle a couple days ago, and the only reason why they lost is because they got fully paralyzed on the last turn. If they didn't get fully paralyzed, they won the whole battle. That was it. But they did get fully paralyzed, and the last Pokemon killed them. So that's pure RNG, and the guy was so nice about it. We'll see, bad. He was so nice about it. He's like, yeah, it is what it is. I got fully paralyzed. I'm sorry, but he didn't retaliate, and that's just the thing. And then last thing is, this is all in good fun, and I look forward to having fun this season. So yeah, so just don't be an asshole. If you lose, take it like a man or a female, and just be like, nice game, GG. hopefully I'll win next week. Because the worst thing is having a sore loser on the draft league, and that's just what it is. So this is all the rules that I have right now. I may be adding a couple little things, tweaking little things. Like I said, if you want to keep up on it, because I won't be uploading another video on the rules unless I completely change them, which I won't. Go to the draft league link that I link down below, and you can click and just come right here and read this. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you are excited, this is probably only a longer video, so I apologize for that. But if you do have any questions, feel free to just refer back to this video, or if you still don't understand, message me. I 100% will be like, oh yeah, I'll explain it. So, but other than that, guys, I really hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Trying to get this channel partnered. The best way to do that is subscribe. Then I can get paid and make videos for you guys full time. It'd be a dream come true. But other than that, guys, like I say at the end of every video, I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Nature General out. Peace.